What is up, everyone? Today I'll be showcasing one of my new favorite Pokemon to run, Galarian Weezing. I love how much coverage this Pokemon has with the Play Rough Overheat combination. There's only one typing that resists both Fairy and Fire types, and they are not that common, so Galarian Weezing can basically hit everything for at least, or almost everything besides Fire, for at least neutral or super effective damage, which is really nice. It's what makes Galarian Weezing a very good lead. It straight up wins a lot of lead matchups if you face a Dragon, a Fighting type, a Grass type, a Dark type, or even other Fairy types. Galarian Weezing usually wins the head-to-head because of the Poison typing. And if you don't win the matchup, let's say there's a Nidoqueen in the lead or a Steel type in the lead, you can overheat them, do a bunch of damage, and dip out and clear the debuff, and then you can overheat again later at full power. Running this thing with Sableye in the back, since Sableye is still an amazing save switch in this meta. And then as a third, I'm running Shadow Arcanine, which is not something I'd recommend. If you really want a good team, run Runerigus, Kofibrigus, Medicham, or Swampert there. You got a solid squad, but I'm running Shadow Arcanine because I wanted to try it out. Actually had all these battles during my Twitch live stream, and someone in chat suggested me to run Shadow Arcanine, so said, you know what, I'll just plop it on this team, try it out, see if it works. And it actually did quite well. Fire Fang from Shadow Arcanine in combination with that Psychic Fangs with the buffs your opponent's defense is just so oppressive. So let's just take a look at these battles. They were quite good. We're gonna lead into a Skarmory here with Galarian Weezing, and this is one of those matchups that you don't win, but you can still overheat and then dip out. I would usually expect them to shield, but they don't. It does so much damage. I switch to Sableye to catch this move here. Honestly, at this point, I feel like I should have stayed in with Weezing, so I could have still taken that move easy on Weezing and then Fairy Winded down. But you know, this is fine too. They bring in the Azu, which is kind of the point of Sableye in this team as well. Lure out Azu so that Arcanine avoids it. Arcanine cannot face an Azu because it's just quite bad. Actually, Arcanine does have some play versus Azu with the Wild Charge, but the Wild Charge only does like 70%. So in general, Azu definitely still wins that. Weezing, however, is pretty good versus Azu. Not that good since I'm not running Sludge, of course. I'm not running any super effective moves. But even straight Play Rough, you do fine. As long as I don't run Hydro Pump, which most don't these days, but who knows? We're gonna see less Walrein, so maybe Azus will stop running Play Rough and we'll see more Hydro Pumps, which would definitely be bad news for Weezing. Anyway, Deoxys comes out at this point. I'm just gonna save 2 shields for Arcanine. Look at this beauty. We're gonna shield up all moves Deoxys throws at us because we are very squishy. And we're just gonna start spamming these fangs. Overfarm a little bit because I know Skarmory is still in the back. So once I throw this, they're very likely gonna switch out to clear the debuff. And then I just want a Psychic Fangs at the ready a little bit earlier. Doesn't look like they wanna clear the debuff though, so that's fine. Just gonna shoot this up, keep fanging. Now they switch out? No, they just let me take him out. Okay, now I take him out. That's a GG. All right, Venusaur lead. This is a pretty decent lead for a Galarian Weezing, since of course I resist everything this thing can throw at me, and I've overheat to basically one-shot it. Frenzy still has a ton though, because it is a Frenzy plant for my Venusaur. I'll just go straight for the overheat here, hoping they let it go. And they do it. Oh, takes out the Venusaur. Bye-bye. They bring in Medicham right now. Clearly, they're very weak to Galarian Weezing, so I'm actually going to save it. Bring in my Sableye. In comes an Altaria. They are very weak against Weezing. They are very, very weak against Weezing. This is what I really like about Weezing. Weezing has like similar coverage to Charmers, but much less oppressive, because Charmers, of course, destroy Sableye, destroy Medicham, destroy Altaria. Weezing doesn't straight up destroy him. Weezing could potentially lose versus all of these. Maybe not Altaria. Versus Medicham and Sableye can versus Altaria, it's pretty good. But it's just not as good as Charmers. But you do better versus a Pokemon that generally beat Charmers. Like Venusaur. Like, no Charmer beats Venusaur, usually. Unless you have, like, a lot of more health and shields. Usually you just can't beat Venusaur with Charmers. But Weezing can, and that's just really cool. Because Charmers generally have very good coverage, neutral-wise, super effective-wise, but they also have very hard losing matchups, which Weezing doesn't really, except for Fire types, but they are not that common, so it's fine. Weezing just very, very flexible Pokemon in this meta, I found. which is why I really like it. Arcanine not as flexible, as it takes so much damage from Altaria, but we still get to the Psychic Fangs to take out this bird. GG. Alright. Now this is... Okay, I'm talking about how flexible Weezing is, and in comes a hard wall. It is Bastiodon. This isn't good. This is where the team also fails, because this wouldn't be too bad if I was running like Runerigus or Kofibrigus or Medicham or Swampert in the back, since they are all fine against Bastiodon. Without, this is gonna be trouble, because Arcanine also really doesn't want to see Bastiodon. This is a problem. Still, I already did a good chunk versus that Basti with the Overheat. They bring their own Sableye. At this point, I just kind of want to take Switch. Though, if they let this go, I might just farm down with Weezing. Or, I mean, if they shield that, I might just farm down with Weezing. Maybe that's what I should have done. No, actually, I'm shooting this to farm down, have a Foul Play loaded for the Bastiodon. But I'm going to make a mistake here. I don't throw my move immediately, because I don't expect them to throw their move at Bastiodon immediately, since they should know I have a move, and then they don't want to CMP tie, right? They want to get as much farm as possible. So I go for the extra Shadow Claw, and they actually throw a Stone Edge immediately, which is very, well, this is a bad play by me. Just straight up a bad play by me. I should have thrown my Foul Play. Done damage there. Still, they are not in Foul Play range at this point just yet. So this Bastiodon would always get to the Stone Edge versus my Weezing. Almost knock it out. Then I bring in my Arcanine. I'm gonna farm this down, get a bunch of energy. And then what comes in? Medicham comes in. Okay, I have one win condition here. Go for the Psychic Fangs on the CMP tie. And then hope my Weezing can survive one counter and get to the Fairy Wind. They actually shield this up as well, which is huge. This means the Play Rough will now knock out. I mean, Play Rough, of course. Get a Fairy Wind off. Get to the Play Rough. But no, of course we die. We have 1 HP. GG's. Alright, next match. Good lead with Sableye into my Galarian Weezing. Again, this is not as good as a matchup for Galarian Weezing as it is for Charmers, but still fine. And they bring in the Skarmory here, hoping to catch a Play Rough, but I saw it. I threw the Overheat. Almost knocks out the Skarm. I bring in my Arcanine now into the Skarm to farm down. Honestly, I should have probably gone in Sableye because just an easier farm down. But this is fine. I go for the Psychic Fangs right before I get knocked out. Sadly, couldn't reach the Wild Charge, but I still shoot it up. So this is amazing. Bringing my Weezing now to farm down. And I'm really hoping this is another Steel type in the back, because this is pretty commonly like Sableye, Skarm, Ready Steel or something. And that'd be amazing, because then I can overheat the Tin Man as well, which would be great. In it comes. In it comes. We go for the overheat. Does it hit? It does hit. We almost take out the Registeel. We're gonna go for another overheat right here before they can even get to a charge move. Do they let this go too? They do. They know it's over, so they let the overheat go. GG. Alright, another great lead for Weezing. Weezing just picks up a ton of leads. In comes our Trevenant now. Bringing my Arcanine. Look at these Fire Fangs. Doing so much damage. They only did like 5 or 6 Shadow Claws. I think 6. So it could only be a Seed Bomb, because Shadow Ball 7. So I let that go. It still does a ton though. Look at how low they brought my Arcanine. But I do have a Wild Charge sword as well to throw this Obstagoon, which they shield up. And now bring my Weezing into the gun. This doesn't do too much damage. This doesn't do anything. So I let it go. I think I just go for the Play Rough before they get to another move. I want to preserve health here. I'm assuming they're going to be weak in the back, honestly. No shield. In comes Alola Ninetales. And this is where Weezing is really good too. Beating the Charmer, says you do resist Charm, since you're a Poison type. Like this Poison Charm, this Poison Fairy typing is just weird. I should really stop calling Fairy types Charmers. It's just so stuck with me now. Every Fairy type I see, it's with a Fairy fast move, is just a Charmer in my mind. But now we got Fairy Winders, so it's like, really stop doing it. Anyway. We get Nidoqueen in the lead. This is not good, especially since I don't have a great answer to Nidoqueen in the back either. This is where having, like, Runerigus, Kofibrigus, Swampert, and even Medicham would help. But if I get shields down here, Arcanine might be able to Psychic Fangs later. Bring in Lickitung, which is where that's possible, because Lickitung, once Sableye has a little bit of an energy lead, actually loses 0 versus Sableye, so it's fine. They actually shield up early, probably hoping to shield a return, but I don't throw the return. For a Foul Play. So good bait by me. Now I just hope I can get to another return, but like there's no way, right? There's no way. We're not reaching it. We're gonna go for the Foul Play. At this point, I kind of just want to load up on energy on Weeze, then probably farm down with Arcanine. This is where Wheeze does kind of struggle, because Fairy Wind does no damage. It's the same as Mud Shot, Thunder Shock. You know, you can't farm down with these moves, just like you can't with Fairy Wind. But I'm tanky enough to take 2 Body Slams, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna farm up a load of energy, then switch into Arcanine to Fire Fang. At this point, I don't want to waste a full Play Rough or Overheat to take out this Licky. That is not worth it to me. So, I'm gonna shield up this Body Slam, farm up 1 more Fairy Wind, switch it to Arcanine, farm it down. Actually switch very quickly to Obstagoon before I can do that though, which is unfortunate. And it's also real bad. Yeah, this is quite over. They even Obstruct, which is wild. That is such an unnecessary move. Night Slash, it's probably a safer way to go for them, but in the end it doesn't really matter, honestly. They let this Wild Charge go, and Nidoqueen can just sweep. Even barely don't get there. Barely don't get there. I go for the Play Rough bait, but it's over. They're very close to the Poison Fang. Even if they shield this, I cannot get to the Overheat, sadly. And that is a GG. Close one, though. That was extremely hard counter. We had Nidoqueen into Weezing, we had Licky into Sable, and then Obstagoon into Arcanine. It's not that hard of a counter, but still not good. So we got close, and I'm happy with that. Okay, Bastiodon lead once again. Can we take him out this time? Go for an Overheat, switch into Sableye. By the way, one little tip for you all. If you are making a Sableye, okay, and you have several options of Sableyes, an Excel Sableye, check the defense IV, okay? There is a breakpoint you can hit against Bastiodon, which means if you hit that breakpoint, if you have high enough defense to hit that breakpoint, the Smackdowns will do 1 less damage, which is very huge in that matchup. Like, that's actually massive in that matchup. So if you have multiple options of Sableyes to build, go for the higher defense one, because you are more likely to hit that point. Definitely go for that. Mine, unfortunately, doesn't hit it. I have a pretty good rank Purified Sableye, but it's high HP, low defense. So mine doesn't hit it. It's kind of sad. I'm looking for another one, actually, that does hit it. Yeah, even if you don't hit it, it does very well. As you can see, it does very well. It doesn't, ultimately, it doesn't really matter how many Bastiodons are you really gonna see, right? So, and it's not a huge difference, but like, if you have the option, go for it. That's the case with most breakpoints. Like, in general, I would say just don't really worry about them, because the times they're gonna come up are very, very low. But if you do have the resources to do that, it is something you could potentially look into. But it's not something you should really fuss about. Anyway, this Foxy is just gonna take me out, right? They just threw a Mud Bomb. Just gonna throw another one. This will take me out. But they go for the Dynamic Punch. It's double resisted. What are they doing? What are they doing? We win the game. Let's go. I'll take that. I'll take that. If they just Mud Bombed, we would have simultaneous KO'd. But you know what? I take those. Thank you very much. They just don't know what to do against Galarian Weezing. That's clear. Now you do know, though. Throw the Mud Bomb. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate y'all. Good luck, your Bell Strainers.